Good evening. I'd like to convene the special Committee of the Whole meeting, not special, the Committee of the Whole meeting of Monday, July 28th, 2025. We have all the counselors with us tonight. In a minute, I'm going to entertain a motion to go into executive session. Prior to that, I will entertain a motion to receive late communications 1, 2, and 3.
So moved.
You heard the motion. All in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. I will now, Councilor Turco.
Madam President, would you mind could we state the reason for the executive session, just for the record?
The executive session is to discuss Republic Service trash issues on the agenda as Republic Services for the public, yes. And we'll get into that at the special meeting as well, Councilor, but thank you.
Thank you.
We will entertain a motion to convene into executive session regarding Republic Services with the intent to return back into session.
So moved.
You heard the motion. Roll call vote, please.
Councilors Turco,
Yes.
Peach. Yes. Gould, Gamache, Higgins.
Yes.
Manning Martin.
Yes.
Welton.
Yes.
McGinn. Rozignol.
Yes.
Melville.
Yes.
Daigle.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
Thank you, councilors. We will convene in the mayor's office and return back to the committee of the whole. Thank you.
Motion to go into regular session following the executive session.
The motion is actually to adjourn the committee of the whole.
Correct.
We'll take a roll call vote on that, please.
Councilors Turco,
Yes.
Peach. Yes. Gould. Yes. Gamache.
Yes.
Higgins.
Yes.
Manning Martin.
Yes.
Welton.
Yes.
McGinn.
Yes.
Rozignol.
Yes.
Melville.
Yes.
Daigle.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
Thank you, councilors. And now I'd like to call to order the special meeting of the City Council for Monday, July 28th, 2025. I'm Julie Daigle, the City Council President, and serving as City Council for Ward 4. All councilors are present tonight. Public participation in this meeting is provided in person and remotely via Zoom in accordance with Mass General Law. The Zoom link can be found on the city website. This meeting is also being televised and recorded by Peabody TV and the City Council stenographer. Before the moment of silence, Mayor Betancourt is going to dedicate this to a few residents that we recently lost. Mayor Betancourt.
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening to you. Good evening, councilors. I just wanted to take a moment to recognize, and I think all of us would like to dedicate the moment of silence in their names. The city of Peabody lost 3 people who have done a tremendous service to our community, people that really have cared about our community and left a lasting impact. And I wanted to speak about each of the 3 of them briefly. The first is Fred Murtagh, a true Peabody legend that all of us know and all of us had great respect for. Fred was a tremendous family man, somebody with deep family ties here and roots in the city, but also had a pretty amazing career. Graduating from school, he went into the FBI where he briefly worked, and then also was a National Guard member and served our nation before opening up a insurance business in the city of Peabody where he was a business owner, and then going over to Essex Aggie where he was the business manager. Had an amazing career and something that I know so many people are proud of. But he was also an incredible servant of the city of Peabody, one of the longest serving public officials in the city of Peabody's history as a councilor at large, and really left his mark as somebody who worked hard for the residents, constituent service, and really cared for the community, and served all the way up to his passing, where he served up until his death as a member and chair of the Peabody Liquor Licensing Board. So somebody who gave tremendous amount of himself to the city of Peabody and left a lasting legacy here in Peabody. Also wanted to mention Stuart Lazaris. I think all of you knew Stuart and the impact he made in our community. Again, a very distinguished career, a devoted family man, and somebody who really took up a number of causes in our city, most notably as the conservation conservation chair of the Conservation Commission. Really was a driving force in the work that was done at Crystal Lake and Browns Pond and so many other locations, and really made an impact in many ways, but most notably in that way. And somebody who, again, served this city until his passing. And also wanted to mention Bob McGuire, again, somebody that is very well known in our community, somebody who's very well known to all of us. Bob was a devoted family man who his family is closely tied to the city of Peabody, whose roots run very deep here in the city of Peabody, and was also a veteran serving with the United States Navy honorably, and then an over 30-year career in the Peabody Police Department as retiring as a captain. Also a public servant who served 10 years with the Peabody City Council as a councilor at large, sitting where all of us are and working hard on the issues of the day, and somebody, again, who made a lasting impact on the city in all 3 in so many different ways. And I appreciate, Madam President, and all of you giving me an opportunity to mention each of those 3 distinguished people and to dedicate tonight's meeting, this moment of silence in their honor. So thank you, Council.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, councilors. Before we begin the special meeting, which is about Republic Services, called to order by a few counselors that wanted to update the public, we're just going to take one item out of order if there's no objection. Late communication 4.
Motion to receive.
Thank you. You heard the motion. This is to upgrade Jamie Harrop from the Conservation Commission from an alternate to a regular commission member. Can I get a motion to approve this, please?
Motion to approve?
You heard the motion. All in favor? Any opposed? Roll call vote, please.
Councilors Turco. Yes. Peach.
Yes.
Gould.
Yes.
Gamache.
Yes.
Higgins.
Yes.
Manning Martin.
Yes.
Welton.
Yes.
McGinn.
Yes.
Rozignol.
Yes.
Melville.
Yes.
Daigle.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
Thank you. Now I'm going to turn this over to Mayor Betancourt, who's going to provide us with an update about Republic Services. Mayor, please.
Great. Thank you, and a good evening again to you. Good evening, councilors. Hope everybody's doing well. Here to talk about Republic Services and the current work stoppage. And in many ways, I don't know where to begin. This is something that has had a dramatic impact on all of us. It's been an extremely challenging period of time for each and every one of us across this city, our residents, our businesses, everybody in city government, trying to navigate our way through really an unprecedented experience here in the city of Peabody. And I want to first thank everybody for their patience and cooperation during these difficult days as again, we try to work our way through the tough issues that has been caused by this work stoppage. And I wanted to speak a little bit, and again, happy to answer any questions. I do have our city solicitor, Don Kahn, here, as well as our director of public services, Will Paulitz, as well, to provide any insight or answer some questions. But first and foremost, we have an existing contract with Republic Services, and it is a contract where we contend they are clearly in breach of the contract, where they're required to pick up all trash and recycling every 7 days. And that is clearly in breach over these last 3 to 4 weeks of this existing strike. And there is a current lawsuit that we've brought forward against Republic Services for violations of public health, nuisances created by the failure to pick up the trash and recycling under the contract. That is a lawsuit that's been brought forward by a number of communities, and there are 14 communities that are serviced by Republic at this time. Most of them are in this particular area, within the Essex County area: Peabody, Beverly, Danvers, Gloucester, Linfield, Marblehead, Malden, North Reading, Ipswich, Manchester by the Sea, as well as some communities that are a little bit further away: Watertown, Canton, and some others. All of us are dealing with the very same issues. All the cities are in agreement that that Republic is in breach of their contracts. Each city or town that I've mentioned, all 14 communities, have different contracts with Republic Services. The language are not the same. There's provisions in ours that is not in other cities. All the terms are very much different in some respects. Certainly the pricing is different as well. So there's not a collective lawsuit that could be brought forward on behalf of all 14 cities and towns under a breach of contract, because all contracts are different. We did bring forward 6 communities, and they're the larger cities and towns, brought forward the complaint on public health nuisance, as I mentioned earlier. We did bring forward, as part of that lawsuit, a request for an injunction. The injunctive relief we was asking for, which was the specific request that was made really under an emergency order. We were asking the judge to demand and require of Republic Services to increase the resources to cities and towns to make sure that the contracts are abided by. More trucks, more personnel, in order to meet the needs of our residents, in order to have, again, our contracts honored. The injunction, we found out earlier today, in fact, it was a short time ago, that the judge denied our request at this time. It's without prejudice, which could mean it could be brought forward. The lawsuit continues, but the specific relief we were asking for at this particular time was denied. And the judge wrote her opinion. It was very sympathetic in understanding the needs and the problems that are being created by this work stoppage, but she didn't have the ability under the law to seek that immediate request that we were making of the court. But that will continue, and I anticipate that all cities and towns will be bringing forward breach of contract claims in the future. What's being done, I can speak to cities and towns now, or they're just putting together a log of all the damages that are incurred up to date, costs that we've had to spend as a city for things that should have been taken care of by the contract. So that's something I think will be a part of the city's future, and I know all of us agree on this, but we need to make sure our legal interests are protected, our financial interests are protected, and the public health of our residents are protected as very best we can. And we're making sure that we're going to be on top of that and doing everything we can in order to move those forward. But this has had a dramatic effect on the city, the operation of city government as a whole. Our police department has been impacted. Department of Public Services has been impacted. I would say that probably 90% of the work of the Department of Public Services has been in some way trash related. And also our health department, again, significantly impact, let alone the number of calls that have come into City Hall for relief. This is a very unsettling time, very nervous time for our residents as they try to figure out what to do. We've been doing the very best we can with providing information through robocall messages, social media, putting things out into print media to try to let people know what's taking place and to try to get out the communication as best we can. I think we've done a good job in that in many respects, but a lot of the time the information we're getting is day to day, and it's difficult to make sure everything is done timely. And that's why, again, I appreciate everybody's patience and understanding and cooperation as we work our way through this. We have had a couple of Department of Public Services Day where we've allowed residents to bring their trash to our landfill, to bring some recycling to our landfill. Depending on the length of this strike and the needs of our community, those are certainly days we could have more of in the future. And all of those costs derived from those additional days, dumpsters, things like that, are all costs that will be withheld from Republic Services as we make our monthly bill. Just so you know, some understanding, our contract with Republic Services, which we have 1 year remaining on the additional 10-year term, on the first 10-year term, the original 10-year term, we have 1 year remaining that we just started. But a year ago, I did use an option that we had as a city to do an additional 5-year term for the contract. So under our contract right now, we have a 6 years remaining with Republic Services. And again, that'll be something that we have to discuss and work out as a community moving forward. But right now, this year, we pay approximately $200,000 per month for trash and recycling. It comes to about $125,000 for trash and about $75,000 for recycling. That's billed to us monthly and that we make payment on. We have not made any payment since the strike began, and we'll be withholding payment until we can figure out the costs incurred and where we go from there. So I just want to make sure that everybody knows that there has been no costs to the city of Peabody or no payments by the city of Peabody since the strike began. Police details are, we believe, fully the responsibility of Republic Services. Those are not something that should be taken up by taxpayers and paid by taxpayers. Those would be bills that would be paid directly to the city of Peabody from Republic Services for those police details. We have 3 active sites in the city of Peabody where our police officers are working 24/7. And again, all of those costs are not the responsibility of the taxpayers, not responsibility of city government, the responsibility of Republic Services. And certainly other questions, information that everybody's looking for, happy to answer. Again, we have our city solicitor here, Madam President, as well as our Director of Public Services. I know Sharon Cameron, our health director, provided a memo earlier with some information from her department that I'd be happy to touch on as well. But happy to answer any questions or provide any additional information from beyond what was just given. Madam President, I'll turn it back to you and take your direction.
Thank you, Mayor, for that update. Before I open it up to the rest of the councilors, I do want to apologize to the public for the delay. We did meet in executive session to discuss things that are litigious about this contract. So the purpose of this is to provide updates that we can to the public, and I'm sure some councilors have questions or points that they want to make. I will open up the floor to anyone that would like to speak or ask questions before Attorney Khan. Counselor Higgins.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. I have a question. I'm not sure if it's going to be answered by the mayor or the director of DPS. Ward 6 trash pickup day is on Friday, probably the worst possible day. It's the end of the week, and they've been running a day or two or more late with our pickups, and it's difficult to know when their service is going to stop. I understand they have so many hours that they can work, and Mr. Mayor, you will see tonight on your way home, you will see from Cobb Ave all the way to Birch Street, the even side of the street was not picked up, and now we're looking at hopefully Tuesday for a pickup. Is there any way we could at least get the hours and know, like say on a Saturday afternoon time, if we haven't had a pickup, that we're not likely going to get a pickup on Saturday afternoon? And is there anything we can do with Republic to have them withhold some of their the overtime that they're using with their staff so that we could get a full days of pickup on a Saturday? Because now that trash has to sit Sunday, and with the heat that's coming, that's not really helpful for anybody. I'll allow you to answer that.
Well, thank you, Counselor, and certainly I think that summarizes very well all of the concerns that we're having, or many of the concerns we're having. It's never a good time for a work stoppage in terms of picking up trash, but certainly during the summer months it creates even more additional problems because of odor and because of rodents and things like that. And when I mention about a breach of contract, that's exactly what I'm talking about, is their failure to pick up the trash and recycling under the contract. And it's very strange. It doesn't make sense in terms of a lot of what's happening in random streets just not getting picked up, but the next street over is getting picked up. One side of the road is getting picked up. The other side is not getting picked up. They pick up trash. They don't pick up recycling. They pick up recycling, don't pick up trash. Cul-de-sacs are getting missed. Streets are getting missed. It's very random and haphazard. I think there has been some improvement. As of last week, we were getting recycling picked up, which we didn't get for the first 2.5 weeks or so. So yeah, it's very difficult, and that's what I meant when I said that day to day, the circumstances change and the information comes in on the fly, and we're trying, and all of you have been great reaching out to me, advocating for your neighborhoods and streets, and places that are missed, and we've been calling them in, and I know a number of you have been reaching out directly to our Republic contact as well. So in terms of Saturdays, what's happening is the drivers of the trucks cannot work more than 60 hours a week without then taking off. I believe it's 36 hours before they can start again. So they're working Monday through Friday, getting close to the 60 hours, and then they're able to carry over some of those hours into Saturday. But it's not a full day on Saturday. It maybe goes till noontime, depending. But then they have to be off the road for 36 hours, where they start again Monday. And it makes it very difficult because, yes, somebody who doesn't have their stuff picked up on Saturday, it stays over on Sunday. And it's been a very difficult spot for me personally, and I'm sure all of you, because I've encouraged people to leave their trash out, because I don't want a truck to come by and then somebody not have their trash or recycling out, because that would be terrible if I told them to bring it in and then all of a sudden a truck comes by and I'm never sure of what the schedule is going to be or what particular areas they're going to hit. And as I said, it's gotten a little bit more regular every week, but it's still, again, very haphazard as to how things are working out. So I don't have a great answer for you, Counselor. I can definitely bring that up to see maybe if they end a little earlier on Friday, and that allows for more hours on a Saturday. That can be something that we bring up. But yeah, it's just very unpredictable and difficult to navigate, and that's what I mean. Like day to day, the circumstances change, almost hour by hour in some ways.
Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Higgins. Counselor McGinn.
Thank you, Madam President. Mr. Mayor, I agree that your communications have been quite good on this. Appreciate that. I'm frustrated by this as much as, as any counselor. With respect to the 60-hour limit on the work week for the drivers, I'm hoping that maybe we can maybe push them a little harder to prioritize streets that are just getting missed altogether, because, you know, I think your comment is accurate that overall it's getting a little better, but there are pockets where it's not getting better. I live in one of them, and, you know, we haven't had recycling picked up once, not once, since the beginning of this. We're now into our third week of several streets that haven't had a trash pickup at all. This has all been reported to Health and DPS and to Republic. But, you know, we just got to figure out a way to force them to go to these places where apparently they don't want to go, or they, you know, I think we talked about this back in March when Republic was here. Ward 3, Ward 2, we've got some similar situations with some narrower streets. They're tougher to negotiate. Maybe these drivers that are coming from elsewhere are less familiar. But we need to figure out a way to push them into these places where where it's a little bit more difficult to navigate, and make sure that these residents don't keep ending up on the short end of the stick. You know, again, our trash day is supposed to be Tuesday. I got my fingers crossed that something positive is going to happen tomorrow, but it's from a, and I agree with the guidance you're giving people to leave it out there, because, you know, God forbid the truck comes and they've taken the trash in, but it's a mess. I mean, it's you know, that we got trash blowing all over the place, and it's from a health perspective, we're in a bad place. So I realize you're pushing them as hard as you can. I realize you're pulling all the levers that we have at our disposal with respect to legal action and everything. I guess the only one thing that I would request, if it hasn't been happening already, is that we try to maybe micromanage them a little bit more within that 60-hour thing. Just not accept from them that, you know, they have that 60-hour cap, but get them to tell us what streets they're actually doing proactively, or somehow figure out how to prioritize streets that haven't been touched, and so that we can hopefully get caught up and have a little bit more uniform coverage for those 60 hours that are available to the drivers.
Thank you, Council. I think that's a good suggestion. And I did want to mention the 60 hours, that's not a city ordinance or anything like that. That's a state law on the 60 hours, that once you have 60 hours during a work week, you have to have 36 hours off the road. So I just want to make sure that people didn't think that was a city ordinance. But I think that suggestion is a good one. I mean, you know, I know Ward 2 has been hit, Dalton, Park, Winter, Emery, Loris. I mean, there's a whole bunch that we could rattle off. I think all of us, Harris, there's a number of streets that are, you know, and it does seem to be streets that are cul-de-sacs, that are skinnier roads and things. So I think that's a good suggestion. I can bring that up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn. Thank you, Mayor. Any other councilors? Councilor Turco, and then Councilor Peach.
Thank you. You know, just for the record, it's difficult. We just had an executive session where a lot of these questions were asked, so I need to be careful about what I ask in our state and public session. So I'll say what I think that I'm comfortable with saying, that we did ask the mayor if we could abide by some of the city ordinances that are in effect with regard to trash pickup, and one of those was to go back to the 7 a.m. Pickup, whereas Republic has, we temporarily gave them authority to pick up at 6, but they've actually taken advantage of that and gone out much earlier than 6 a.m., which is also an issue. But my primary thing that I know that I can bring up here is the ordinance very well covers pest management plans for these trucks, for these facilities. And I know that we have one of the best health directors and health departments in the state, so I'm pretty sure she's on top of this. But I want to say publicly that after a month of trash being left out for multiple days, we're going to face this issue down the road, Mayor, as you've expressed, and I think every councilor here has expressed. So I think we need to step up our game with the pest management plan requirements from Republic. And, you know, even with standard via city ordinance, if the health director could take that above and beyond at some of these facilities. And the reason I say that is also what we mentioned is that on Forest Street, at that transfer station, there are trucks coming in from multiple cities and towns that never came here before, from Revere, West Roxbury, and other portions of the state that Republic has decided to utilize that facility. I don't want us to bear the burden or pay the price for the rodent activity that will not just disappear if the strike is settled, the contract is settled. We'll face those for months. So again, just as we did in executive session, we didn't make any motions. These are just requests, Mayor, that the things that we could look at. And I say that because as Councilor McGinn said, you've done a phenomenal job with the robocalls and the information, and that's the best that we can give residents at this point. So you've taken a lot of burden off us as councilors in the meantime in the last month. So we also, with respect to that, have tried to be helpful as a group. The other issue that I did want to bring up is that there are supposedly only 12 vehicles authorized to dump trash in Peabody. And again, we did mention that you were going to look into that whether those 12 vehicles were the only 12 permitted within the city to pick up trash, and whether the dozens and dozens of vehicles that are dropping off should be dropping off within the city. The last thing that I will mention is, the mayor mentioned in his most recent robocall, is that the 18th of July was the last negotiation between the Teamsters Union and Republic. The Teamsters did put an offer on the table on that 18th, and never heard back from Republic and haven't heard since. So it's been 10 days with zero contact between parties. You know, people have questions about what the mediator, the federal mediator's position is here. From what I'm told by the Teamsters is that the federal mediator can't force two parties to get at the table. He can only mediate when they agree to get at the table. So that question's been asked of me, and I'm sure you, Mayor, several times, is why doesn't the mediator step in and force this meeting to take place? He or she can't do that. So that's where we are. But again, a lot more than this was discussed in executive session. I hope the public has faith that we are addressing it on a daily basis. The mayor is addressing it on a daily basis. As he stated, we've exhausted our police department, our health department, our code enforcement, and I think a lot of city officials are exhausted at this point with trying to deal with this. And I know I said last thing, I do want to mention that we did have a contact, a young woman named Katie that was our contact. She has since, in the last 72 hours, stopped responding for some reason. I don't know why that is, Mayor. I don't know if you know why that is, but we don't get a response as councilors anymore. So I would ask, as the mayor states in his robocalls, that you call the mayor's office, since at this point I can't get a response from anybody within Republic. I will relay or give you that number as residents if you call, but I don't have a direct contact any further as of roughly 72 hours ago, and I know other councils have said the same. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor. I think those were good suggestions. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Turco. Councilor Peach.
Thank you, Madam President. Going off what Councilor McGinn said, I know we experience many of the same issues. Through to the mayor, if we can really push, every night I'm compiling a list and I'm sending it to you and to Will Politz, and that's being forwarded because, like Councilor Turco said, the contact that we have always used, trash before the strike got missed in Ward 3. So and it wasn't, you know, oh, it's late. It was just missed. The streets were missed. There's a lot of small streets. If it's not the regular driver, they don't know that it's there. And we had this contact that when we had a public meeting in March, I sang her praises because she was very responsive, and I understand she's probably really inundated right now, but I don't know if that's the same contact that you and Will have, but if we can at least get some acknowledgement that the streets we're sending, I know they're supposed to be prioritized, but I send the same streets every single night, and then we pray on Wednesday on our regular pickup that they show up. And you mentioned Harris Street. Harris Street has seen pickup one time since June. For somehow, some miracle, the trash came on time last week, and we happened to be paving the road, so their trash hasn't been picked up because we were fixing their road, and you know, the first time in a month the trash came on time and showed up in the morning. So yeah, I've called the line that Republic gives out to the public, and I followed all the prompts and waited to talk to someone there and report the streets. And you don't get anyone that is local here. It gets their main office, and so they have no idea what I'm talking about. They don't know the difference between Berry Street and Berry Place, both of which have not had trash pickup. But it's if we can just get some sort of response, and I understand it's hard if you have 11 counselors, each individually reporting and oftentimes double reporting streets. It's not, I agree, it's not a great way of communicating. That's why I've moved to just sending everything to you and Will. And but if we can get some sort of response, like, oh yeah, we're going tomorrow morning, we have this truck that is assigned, and they did that one week. They had a specific truck that just went out to do missed pickups because I had residents talk to the guys, and they were local drivers that were more comfortable driving our small little one-way double-parked streets. But I can, on one hand, really understand those small streets that have been missed, and that the fact that we've had to bring it up and bring it to their attention. What I don't understand is just like driving by 3 houses and not taking their trash, and then starting to take trash on the same street, which happened on my street, and then driving down another street to get out of the neighborhood and not picking up any of the trash. I don't know. And then it gets reported, and it's not on you, but it's, and then you tell people to leave it out again because you don't want them to take it in and the trash show up. But in my experience, a lot of it just waits until the next pickup day, and sometimes that's okay just to have 1 week where there's no trash pickup, and we kind of did that in the beginning, like, oh, it's only 1 week, it's okay, but to have multiple streets continuously, and then people call and I really say, I wish I had a better answer, but just leave your trash out and I'll report it again, because I report it every single day. But if we could really push whoever we're talking to at Republic to just give us a bit more communication that, yes, there will be a truck out, and these are all the streets they're going to go do, and kind of crisscross the city. Probably not the most efficient way to do it, but at least we'll know that it'll get done. So, you know, we don't have people just leaving their trash out, and then it just sits there for a full another week before the next pickup comes around. So if you could try, we would appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Fair points.
Thank you, Councilor Peach. Back to Councilor Higgins.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to add that I've been contacting Katie at Republic, and she's been responsive. I have been receiving messages from her. I think what I learned with working with Katie is it's difficult. I used to like to use the phone, and I'd call her, and I'd never get a call back. And then she told me to text her. So I've been receiving texts back, but to your point, Councilor Peach, and my question, well, and comment to the mayor is I'd like to know what Katie, maybe I can ask her myself, I'd like to know what her hours are, because if we're contacting her, you know, post 3:30 and she's gone for the day, we need to know that, because a lot of times we also work and we're trying to contact them after, you know, 5 o'clock. It's not likely we're going to get a response if her day is over at that point. So, and then Saturday, I think I got no response after 12:30, so I'm assuming she may quit at 12:30 or 12 on Saturday. But Monday morning, bright and early, I did get a response, and the streets that I reported in did get taken care of today, with the exception of one being Lowell Street. But yeah, I think it would be best if we knew what that contact schedule is and preferred method of communication. If it's texting or email, we need to know what that is. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councillor Higgins. Councillor Welton.
Thank you, Madam President. Through you to Will Pollitt, probably. Just a quick question. Stickered large items, I'm guessing we're not pushing those right now. I drove up Bartholomew Street this morning and saw a couch and a TV at a different location. My thought was probably good luck, but could you maybe just let us know policy-wise so we can inform the residents?
Sure. For the record, Will Pollitt's Public Services Director. It's a great question. I don't think we've said that we wouldn't pick that up. I think ideally it would not be the best time for residents to be getting rid of couches and other items that don't need to go out into the street. It'd be better to utilize Republic's limited ability on the street to pick up the actual trash, but there's not a ban, I don't think, on large, well, I know there's no ban on these large items to be placed out there. It would be preferred if they were not at this point, but there is no ban on it. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, that answered my question. Thank you very much, Will. And yeah, I guess just to reiterate, if you don't need to put it out, probably now's not the best time to put it out.
Thank you, Councillor Welton. Thank you, Mr. Pollitt. Any other councillors? Councillor Turco, back to you.
My apologies, Council Daigle. Thank you for coming back to me. Just through you to, because it just dawned on me, that's a great question from Council Welton. Is that contractual, the large item pickup? Is that a violation of the contract with Republic that they do large item pickup, Mayor?
Yeah, I think that's another violation of the contract. Yeah, some people have reached out to me about white goods. I have discouraged that at this point, but that's also a violation of the contract. And yard waste doesn't typically happen until the fall when we have our yard waste days, so I can't say that's a violation of the contract right now. But I think bulk items and white goods are, again, an additional violation in terms of a breach claim.
Thank you, Councillor Turco. Thank you, Mayor. If no other councillors would like to speak, I think I can speak on behalf of all of us and say thank you to the Mayor, Attorney Khan, Will Pollitt, and all of Public Services, the Health Department, the Police Department, the Mayor's Office, and the residents. Everyone's been very patient. We hope for a solution sooner rather than later. But for now, we appreciate the update, and I am going to move on to a very brief report of the Committee of the Whole. We met at 6 p.m. and convened into executive session. Thank you, Mayor. All councilors were present, as well as Mayor Betancourt and City Solicitor Don Kahn, to discuss the pending litigation regarding Republic Services. No motions were made. Right now, I will entertain a motion to receive late communications 1, 2, and 3.
Move to receive late communications 1, 2, and 3. So move.
You heard the motion. All in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. And I am going to, that concludes our report of Committee of the Whole. Before a motion to adjourn, I just want to remind everyone our next meeting is on Tuesday, August 19th. The regular meeting will be at 7:30 p.m. Enjoy the rest of your summer, councilors. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.